Hey, welcome to the video, and today we are talking about bio-nanogenomics, the internet's latest penny stock darling, no longer quite a penny stock, and why it skyrocketed again today. In this video, I will talk briefly about what bio-nanogenomics does, go over all of the major catalysts that have participated in this run, including what happened today, and finally, for full transparency, let you know my investing plan regarding this company. So first off, what is bio-nanogenomics? Bio-nanogenomics, or BNGO, provides a platform to analyze segments of genomic DNA and other biomolecular structural variations. This company offers proprietary nanochips, seen right here, and imaging instruments with integrated primary and secondary software. And with this technology, they can actually read different genetic diseases like different forms of cancer or do deeper research on things like autism. One of BNGO's main competitors is actually a company called PacB, Pacific Biosciences of California. This is another biotechnology company in the same space and seen as one of BNGO's main competitors. And what makes PACB so special is that it is actually ARC-G, Cathie Wood's genomic ETF's top holding at 6.8% of this ETF's holding, closing in on 20 million shares held. Cathie Wood is this year's investing queen. She has a way of analyzing stocks and capturing winners that frankly no other fund has been able to replicate. So when Cathie Woods invests in a company such as PacB, it goes up. And the thing is, people are saying that BNGO might be the next PacB, or it could be better than PacB, because actually what started this rise up, there was a study done that showed that BNGO's sequencing method was not only more sensitive, and sensitive is good, meaning it could capture more details, it was also able to sequence it faster and at a fraction of the cost as PACB did. The cost of the method PACB uses was between $10,000 and $20,000 versus BNGO. They use something called Sapphire, and it only costs $500 per genome. And that's a huge difference. And don't ask me any more questions about the details because I don't know. But now let's go into what happened today to further drive this stock price up. BNGO stock is taking off on Monday after announcing results from a recent study. The study had the company doing a genome analysis of Professor Temple Grandin. Grandin has autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and is high functioning. The test reveals details that were beneficial to the professor. The evaluation revealed sequence variants in 3 ASD risk genes. The results showed 1 identified gene affecting ASD and 2 neurodevelopmental genes that could affect the person's ASD. Other pathogenic variants were seen in some genes that may contribute to health issues that the professor suffers from. Eric Homlin, PhD CEO of bio-nanogenomics, said this about the positive news for BNGO stock, quote, "This publication shows the importance of genetic testing for ASD and neurodevelopmental disorders. Widespread adoption of genetic testing is important to patients and families because it creates a better understanding of ASD, but more importantly, informs families and patients about immediate health risks associated with ASD that could personalize treatment options and provide potentially life-saving information." Professor Temple Grandin is actually quite famous, and I believe this is part of the reason why the stock reacted so much because of her visibility. She has actually given TED Talks. She was in Time's 100 Most Influential People. A lot of people know about her, and she is a very vocal and visible activist for this cause and also some animal rights causes. And here's actually what she had to say about the whole experience. We're going to a part of an article by Yahoo Finance. Dr. Grandin commented, quote, "When I originally requested to have genetic testing, I had no idea that the test I was getting for autism information would provide me with valuable information for other health problems. It is clearly beneficial for individuals to undergo genetic testing. Those with autism, like myself, may learn important information to guide medical decisions that may possibly save their lives while also potentially finding a genetic link to autism. Testing for people with autism was not commonplace in my youth or early adulthood, which is too bad. because this practice will push the medical community's understanding of autism and health risks forward. The way we've been approaching healthcare for a majority of our lives is fighting it after the symptoms have already showed itself. With genetic testing, we can actually for the first time get ahead of the curve or preemptively deal with issues that may or may not arise, or find plans to help mitigate some problems that our families might be genetically predispositioned to. Specifically regarding autism, actually 1 out of 54 kids are diagnosed on the spectrum. So if she derived so much benefit from this type of testing, imagine if 1 out of 54 kids would benefit a lot from this immediately right off the bat. But I believe ultimately all people will benefit a lot from this. If you are a parent with a child and you know that there is some kind of genetic disease that is common amongst your family, you would probably want to know about it so that as they're growing up, you can find different ways of dealing with it. For example, if you knew that your family always has a vitamin D deficiency, you would make a concerted effort to make sure your kid is outside in the sun getting that vitamin D. That's a very small, minor example. But with this type of genetic testing, we could have customized plans to optimize our own health for exactly what we need from a very early age. I know this is a little bit scary. It definitely feels a little bit like we are playing God too much to know this much about ourselves. But in my opinion, these fears will eventually dissipate. Just because we are scared of it doesn't mean our children will be or our grandchildren will be. I really believe this will be the future because ultimately this will help increase the quality of lives of too many people around the world, especially if it becomes more and more affordable and accessible. Back to the article. With this portion of the study complete, BNGO plans to expand upon it. This will have it doing a full analysis of Grandin's genome via optical genome mapping with Sapphire. It expects to learn more about ASD as a result of this process. Sapphire is their flagship product. It's a genome mapping instrument. You can actually buy this full setup for, I think, about $150,000. You could also rent it, and then they just charge you per genome sequencing, which is about $500 a pop. BNGO stock is seeing heavy trading today on the news. As of this writing, more than 188 million shares have changed hands. Contrast that to the stock's daily average trading volume of 32.24 million shares. That's more than 6 times, or just about 6 times. That's insane. BNGO got a boost last week on a NASDAQ exchange update. The company got an extension that allows its shares to stay on the market longer. If it can keep the positive momentum going, it shouldn't have to worry about delisting. This was just, it had to keep its stock price above $1, and it was easily able to do that with all of these great catalysts. Up 73% Monday morning. As of right now, up 105%. Now, what am I going to do with this company? So I understood a very surface level understanding of what they did, and I invested in this at about $2.50, which was a pretty decent entry point in hindsight. Now, though, after all of this climb, what do I think? Should you invest in this? My opinion is that if you want to invest in this long term, I think it's actually a pretty solid play. There are some risks though. The main catalyst coming up that you have to watch is that this has yet to get FDA approval. If it gets FDA approval, I believe this will shoot up. If it does not get FDA approval, it will come back down very fast and hard. So please be wary. If you are a day trader though, and you want to make money in the short term, I do not think you should trade this stock. This is not a good short-term play anymore. Just look at this run up since December 22nd. It's gone up over 1,000%. Even if you could make a tiny bit of money, the reward is not comparable to the amount of risk. I think there's a high chance there will be a correction soon. This kind of growth is not sustainable, so don't rush into anything. There's always another train coming. Don't try to catch this train after it's already been moving. As a long-term play though, I've decided that I do want to invest in this, even if there's just a small chance that this will be a competitor with PACB. And so far, I think the chances are fairly good. I have exposure to both of these stocks. Yeah, I'm willing to invest in this in the long term. And when I say invest, generally there's only long term, so more than a year. I'm not going to sell this in the short term. Maybe if it goes up a lot to a point where I think it's unwarranted, like let's say it's in the $20 or something before June or July, I might take some profit out or at least get my cost basis back, but I'm going to hold for the long term. Looking at this 1 week graph, I think a good entry point now would be just about the 610 or 620 mark. There's some consolidation just above that. Now it may go lower. It may go higher. Who's to know? I think if you want to get into this stock, just do the safest method, which is just cost dollar average in. I think there's just way too much hype in this stock that it's possible it could continue inching up, so you don't want to completely miss the boat. At the same time, waiting is generally better. I know it seems like I'm flip-flopping, but it's just very hard to predict these movements. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about BNGO. Are you going to invest? If that was helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. I just got partnerships, so thank you all so much for your support. This is Green Knight Trading, where Squires become Knights. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.